Hey everyone, how you guys doing? I'm just doing this for blended whiskey. Just bear with me a sec and we'll get everything set up. Blended whiskey, he's had a bit of an issue with his hangouts, so I said, look, what I'll do is I'll set it up. So just bear with me a sec. I'm just sending in the link so we can get this thing started. Blended whiskey is effectively the one who is doing this. So let me just send that to you now. Okay, just sending him the link and then we can get this started. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining myself and Blended Whiskey on this live stream. We've got a few people in. I'm just going to be organising a few things here, so just bear with me while I get Whiskey on the line. So hopefully it won't be much longer. I just sent him the link there, so hopefully his link is working. Just waiting for his confirmation, and then we can get things going. Actually, I need to take down, I said in my community post that I was actually going to be on Blended's channel, so I just need to take that down. Delete post. Cool. Right, it's like it never happened. How are you all doing today? Let's have a look. We've got a few people in. Coin Sense and Nonsense. Hey, how are you doing, buddy? Will Stalker, Blender, you and Limey Friends on YouTube. I haven't got them linked up at the minute. We got Chef is here as well. Chef, good to see you. That one coin collector. I'm on the road, my friend. Dropping in to say hi and leave a like. I love it. I'm just waiting for Blended Whiskey. Hopefully he can get his hangouts working. I'd say probably get the I just sent him the link. I'm just going to say to him, probably just restart. Computer. That might help. I think HealthBabe is on here as well. So I'm just going to send HealthBabe the link. HealthBabe, if you are there, I'm just dropping you the link here because I think you're a part of this as well. So just bear with me a sec. There you go. You should have the link there, and then we can start chatting so long while we wait for Blended. Yeah, guys. Essentially, I've set this up for Blended Whiskey, so he's the one he's taking the lead on this. So I'm just waiting for him to come in, and then we can get things started. HealthBabe, I just dropped you the link, so if you can accept, we can get you on, and we can start chatting so long. I've never used OBS before. I've got the software downloaded, but I need to set it up basically for when. Actually, I suppose there's for doing live streams. You might as well just live stream straight from YouTube instead of doing OBS. Really, I suppose, unless you want all that fancy hieroglyphics programs, as they say. HealthBabe, we're just waiting for you to. Oh, there we go. HealthBabe. HealthBabe. Your mic is muted. Ah, here we go. Blended.
Hey, how are you?
Hey man, how you doing?
Oh my God, what a mess! I apologize, everyone.
No, it's no problem. What did you do in the end?
Oh, I tried. First, I tried YouTube and it wouldn't let me stream, and then I tried OBS and it wouldn't let me stream. Or I got it to
okay.
stream, but I couldn't get images or how to invite people through OBS and Hangout. And then so that's why I went to StreamYard. But StreamYards, I couldn't figure out the image. I can only figure out just visual. I mean, everybody's face would pop up as soon as they click that link.
Oh, gosh,
So
okay.
I didn't want to go there, and so I'm glad and thank you for offering to take over, so we didn't waste everybody's time.
Oh, no issue, man. Well, essentially, I've just set this up for you, so hence why I put it in the title there, blended whiskey on the.
And then, well, thank you so much hey Barbara, so and thank you so much for sharing the link out earlier, and I saw that and I said, oh my God, this is amazing, and I just couldn't get stuff through.
No, that's all right. Look, I'm glad. Well, we were able to do it now. I wasn't sure if I was just thinking there. I was saying earlier. I was like, geez, what happens if you can't even go through the link I've just sent?
Yeah.
But I'm glad everything's sorted.
Sure. World Stalker wants to be on also, and I was going to bring him on.
Okay.
Because I sent him I sent him some questions also.
Oh, you did? Okay, brilliant. I can send him a link straight away here if you want.
Yeah, please. So while Limey's doing that, Silver Limey's doing that, let me see who's in the chat that I can say hi to. Hey, Mr. Doughboy, good to see you. I'm not sure if DB can come on. I couldn't get your email, buddy, so I couldn't send you on. The reason I asked DB to come on is he's also an investor of gold, and and that's what the topic is about. So.
Okay, cool.
And hello, Chef. Yeah, hi, Chef Capone, welcome. Hello.
Yeah, that's cool. I just want to double check and just make sure HealthBabe can hear me. She hasn't said anything yet. So, HealthBabe, you there? HealthBabe?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Ah, there we go.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey, you're welcome.
We're just waiting for Will's talk. I think he's just said it.
And Barbara is here too. She's doing shopping.
Hi, Guido. How are you?
I want to go shopping.
I think Will Stalker. I think he said he had a few things to do.
Okay.
He's just busy with a few things at the minute, so I'm not sure if he said he might drop in a bit later, or he's just got a few things he's just sorting out while he's on. But there we go. I don't know. I'll leave it up to him. I mean, he said he's just sorting out some things.
Yeah. Okay. So Will. No, I mean, I'm not saying that derogatory. I'm just okay. So I guess we can start because I think we only have. That's it because I couldn't get DB address. So
okay.
And I don't see him in chat. So I guess just the three of us. No, hey, there he is.
DBstupid, I'm kind of slow. I need to get a new email address that doesn't have my full name in it. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So I'm not sure if he's going to set that up or if we just go ahead and move ahead or what he's doing.
Okay.
This is a bit
slow. So we'll go ahead and go. And the three of us talked about this topic before, and I was hoping to get other folks on board. But I'll caveat a few things before. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Will Stalker says he's on the chat blended. If you want me to jump in later, I can. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah, jump in anytime you want. Yeah. So okay, let's caveat this right with gold and that's the topic, and then we can touch on other metals, but the overall gold is sitting at around $1,400 a share, right? So what I'm looking at is it the place to be, or is it not a place to be? And then the rest of the question will touch on that, right? And I've done some research on this, and gold is keeping up with inflation.
Yeah.
Not much. Yeah, not much over inflation, but it is there. Now, so we look at the S&P 500, right? Let's look at the stock market. The stock market between 2008 and 2011, gold has doubled in price. It's 100%. It made 100% gain.
Yeah.
Between, I want to say, August to September 2011, gold has doubled, right? While the stock market has earned a total of, at the same time, the stock market has earned a total of 1% during that time frame. Right. So now, but if we look back from now and the past 30 years, the S&P has gained 1,400%.
Wow.
And gold has only gained, the last 30 years, gold has only earned 200%. Right. So that's a smidgen over the 1.5% annually, or 2.5% of inflation.
Sorry, how many years did you say?
Over the last 30 years.
Last 30 years, okay.
Yeah. So for a period of time that we see, yes, that short period of time where gold has, boom, 100% and stocks did nothing. But over 30 years, 1,400% at the S&P 500 and only 200% in gold. Right. So, and that's the metal we're talking about now. So I'll go back into the question that I sent, right? So everybody has, some reasonable expectation. So if you are buying gold, give us 3 reasons for the audience, 3 reasons why you would buy gold.
Who's first, HealthBabe? Or should I say ladies?
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, whoever. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just spamming the side chat.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, 3 reasons, right? Why buy gold? Number 1, definitely diversification from a portfolio, because the way I learn it, I just don't want to put everything in one single basket, right? That's the number one reason. And number 2, I would like to have insurance policy, right? And as we have seen, a lot of currency nowadays in the world, like the recent one, Venezuela, right? And then they really went down to the drain, right? And people call that hyperinflation, stuff like that. And that's some other country. Majority of them, I think they're in the third world country. Like Argentina is another one, and what's another one? Zimbabwe, that's another one, right? So that's a historical evidence, to suggest, we should have some insurance policy. So that's another reason. The third reason, which is kind of interesting, and I didn't get into until like 2018, which is which becomes my hobby basically. So that's pretty much, I will name them 3 reasons. Those are the main 3 reasons why I start gold. And you can look at it. If I look back, I look at silver, right? Silver is just another way to do it, but it really depends. I mean, that's whole other topic, like we talked about before. That is whole other topic, and in different aspect of it, depends on the weight, or you want to just buy some high premium coin to flip. That's a whole other story. But for gold, that's the main 3 reasons why I do that. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So, so Silver Limey, would you like to go next, or I can go? Okay.
Well, okay, number one for me is the chance of being in the precious metals. In regard to what I stack or what I have is I would buy gold because there's a higher chance of a significant gain in regards to its future price versus other metals. It'll also reduce risk as well because I like to diversify a bit. So if gold is up and let's just say silver's down, then the gold will balance out. But I don't have enough gold though, so that's something I'm working on. And it's also fairly liquid as well. So even if I was to buy it, if it wants to get rid of it quickly, you can pretty much get rid of it fairly quickly. So for me, it's mainly gains, future gains, reduce risk, and that it's another form of liquidity.
Right. Well, very nice. So yeah, so pretty much, I mean, I'm with both of you, and that's why I'm in that market after, after I did the caveat of the S&P earning 1,400. Why the heck am I in gold? So yes, it is part of a diversified portfolio, and I do look at it. Let's go back. I mean, if I have to go back to 2000, let's say 2000. Oh my gosh, 2006. I want to say is when the political crisis that happened where Greece default on their debt.
Right.
You remember, yeah, when Greece default on their debt, and I remember that incident, and I said, oh my gosh. And I was walking with my neighbor, and he didn't believe in gold at all, and he was all in. I mean, he's 100%, 90% in real estate, and he does extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, now, let's say that if you were in real estate, and you happen to have all your real estate in Greece, and the government default. I mean, you could. I remember they were only allowing people to take $67 out a day, out of the banks a day.
Yeah.
You remember? So I said, if you have a bag of gold or even a bag of silver, you can travel to, let's say, I don't know, Germany. You can go to Switzerland and swap that gold out and not worry about, your dollars. But I guess at the same time, you could have had your money in the S&P and not worry about the current, the current I don't know, financial situation that Greece is going through. And another reason that I went into gold to follow that, the pigs country all was getting ready to go into default, right? So the pigs country are the Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain, and I think Ireland was part of that. So it's PIIG.
Yeah,
during that
pigs.
Yeah. So yeah, it was part of that the crisis, the financial crisis then. And then of course after that we rolled into the 2008 financial crisis where 15 days after the start of that crisis, gold has doubled in around 2008, or it was just a huge increase. So that's one of the reasons why I stepped into gold as part of my portfolio. So that's one. And outside of that, it's to me, I think it's a collection, and it's a collection where I also fear healthcare. You see, because after I'm dead and gone, after I'm dust, and it's something for the kids where, okay, so let's say the kids could not, because employment is kind of sketchy nowadays, right? I mean, you can go and you can work for a firm for 25 years and you can get laid off on the 26th year and you lose your health care, you lose et cetera, right? And then you fall into a healthcare crisis where you can't afford to pay that bill and they will come after you. I mean, the Third Order of the Sister of St. Francis built these fancy hospital, to care for the needy. But when the needy don't pay their bills, they will come after you. They don't. They will. They'll leverage everything they can after you. So if you have a stockpile of gold, let's say 10% of your portfolio is in gold. I mean, it's pretty hard for them to find that asset. Even though I understand it is a non-performing asset, it's not a piece of real estate. where you buy it and you rent it out, and then you build equity, and then it's producing income. An ounce of gold today, and in 30 years, it is still 1 ounce of gold. Outside of the intrinsic value. So I'm not sure if I gave you 3. So it's a hidden place for me, and it's against political turmoil, and I guess it's a collection more than anything else.
Yeah, sounds to me. Go ahead.
Sorry, it sounds like it basically like against risk then of.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds like one of them. It sounds like risk.
Yeah, risk, and the second thing I get is the probably you are having go against the disaster strike, right? Stuff like that.
Right. It's just a huge emergency.
Right. So to sum it up, it's more like a insurance policy mainly. Sounds to me.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And before we go on, I think there's a couple comments only for you, blended whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah. So we I don't know if you can read it, and so most of them are from a World Stalker. So Venezuela is an extreme example. Wouldn't plan on that. That is his comment based on what I said in as example. So this one is for you. So he said, blended whiskey, all the gold on your channel is numismatics, but not bullion prices, different topic. So that's one of them. Is it correct? You think most of your gold numismatics gold coin?
I would say only. Well, it's modern coins. So they're modern coins, and I would say maybe 5%. I want to say.
Yeah, it's hard to identify. Between to me, numismatic is more like older coin. Not exactly the modern coin.
Right.
Modern coin is still bullion with it's a bullion coins with a high premium. That's how I see it.
Right.
So
it is.
Yeah.
It is, and it is a hedge. I mean, please don't take and please don't take this as a boast. It's luck. It's luck. I don't believe
rates are pretty low at the minute anyway. So I think your gold appreciation is gonna be well above inflation at this rate.
Right, it is. I mean, I think it is, and like I said, it's all, and we the three of us have talked. We used the word speculation so many times, and I think that's what it is. And so let's look at numismatic, right? I'm not talking about like 27D or a is it a 25 whatever? I looked at some of those coins and you couldn't touch it, especially when you're coming down to 17 particular coins. But right now, what I'm hunting for is coins. It goes back to when Silver Limey showed me that Germania coin, right? So I tried to get it, I couldn't get it, and then it jumped from $2,100 to $3,000.
Wow.
And you're talking in the time frame of a month, right? So I couldn't get a hold of it, and I couldn't get my hands on one because AppMax keep on sending emails. Hey, look, we only got one left at $3,000. Do you want it? And I said, no.
So it's almost like it's taunting you.
Yeah. So with the same,
Go ahead.
So with that same note, I went out and I bought that seahorse, and that seahorse I paid $1,519 for it, and now it's sitting at $2,010, and it increased by $250 before it made it in my mailbox, and then now it's 25%.
After you're done.
Yeah, and then same with that puffin coin, and not all coins do that. Not every one of them will do that. A lot of them just I barely make the premium back.
Okay.
So it'll take me, it'll probably take 5 to 10 years because I do not foresee gold is going to go back to, $400 a share or $800 an ounce.
No, I don't think so. No,
so I hope that answer World Stalker.
Yeah. think so. You pretty much said the modern is not considered as a numismatic coins. Basically, that's what you said. And
Right.
how about you, Silver Limey? What do you think about that?
About numismatic investment coins.
Yeah, I mean, like World Stalker has a comment, to a blended whiskey. All the gold on your channel is numismatics, not bullion
Yeah,
prices,
yeah,
different
yeah,
topics. So what do you
yeah.
think about the definition of a numismatics coin, I guess?
Well, it's effectively its collectible value or graded value would be worth more than its bullion grade. And there probably is I mean, there's a fair market. It's interesting. I've been looking on eBay, looking at graded coins, and it's amazing how many people like they'll advertise something that probably isn't that many, and there's about 8 people, 9 people watching, and I mean, World Stalker there he sent me a 2000 the year 2000 $100 platinum 1 ounce coin. I think it's got the one with the Liberty on it, and
Okay.
so guys put it up for 22.5 grand dollars
Yeah.
a coin. But
Wow.
I mean, if you'd bought it in 2000, it probably would be worth maybe a slight premium above
Yeah.
above spot. So I mean, there's definitely a market there. I'm certainly interested in getting some graded coins now,
Right.
just
Right.
because I've looked into it a bit further instead of just what's the word? Just presuming it's a bad thing. I did my research and I'm thinking, wow, there actually is a market for this stuff.
You're looking for return, sounds to me, right?
Yeah. Oh,
A
absolutely.
margin.
Absolutely. I think I said there, the chance of significant gains. That is me. I want to make money on the stuff I have. I don't like losing money.
Well, nobody does, right? Yeah, and yeah, I can see that. So, that's something I was gonna ask you, both of you, since so Silver Limey
What
sounds
about yourself?
just, huh?
What about yourself, HealthBabe? What do you think of numismatic coins?
Let me ask you this first. Just in response, there's a question. There's something I want to respond to. Blended whiskey and you. But for you so numismatic coins, so do you consider a modern and the pre-1933 or post-1933, they are all numismatic coins?
I would classify them as numismatic, yes.
All of them. Okay, as long as
Well, I mean,
they have a collectible value, sounds to me.
It would be Look, it depends. I mean, if you've got a bullion coin that it's got unlimited mintage, then technically it's a bullion coin. Whereas yes, the pre-33 stuff is definitely numismatic as far as I'm concerned. The modern stuff that has a limited amount, that's considered numismatic.
Okay. So sounds to me you're going with the mintage, right, on the modern.
Absolutely.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So now that does make sense.
Okay.
Because I became more interested lately on numismatic coins because at one time many years ago, I was into it, and I went to the library and got a coin book. It's a year old, it's 2007. No, 2 years, 2017. So I looked at, the double eagles, because that's something that I'm interested in.
Very nice.
Now, some of those have a mintage of 5 million. There's 5 millions of these double eagle that was printed per 1 year, and that's I think with no min mark. And then you have the D and the S and the CC and the on and on. So when you have that much of a volume, is it still a numismatic? And it's not graded and it's in the card, because there's a lot of them. You can just buy bags of it.
Yeah.
So would that be a numismatic coin? It's a pre-33. Is the question that I have. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Is it if I buy a coin that's a proof coin from Libya, there's only 250. Or I guess I think Stephen Heath brought this coin up. It was from RAM. It was the Royal Australian Mint, the dolphin coin. There was only 250 of them. Is that a numismatic coin?
I mean, that to me would be a numismatic coin for sure, just
Right,
based on its on its limitability,
right.
limited number. Sorry.
I see. And so before I answer your question again, there's another thing I want to counter. So Atlanta whiskey. So and those two coins, the puffin and the seahorse, they're nice. They're very nice, But the price wise, the price from the online dealer, personally, I don't really consider as say a realized market price because it's the price being set by the dealer. I personally, I see your point of view, because you get in early, you get into the game earlier, so that's why you get better deal. I totally understand where you're coming from, but on the other hand, when I look at all my high premium coins, the way I look at it, I will check after a couple of years, I would say, and check the true realized price. If anybody they try to put their coin in any places, auction house, eBay or personal, and even a local coin shop, for sale, right? And those are the real price, people are willing to pay. That's how I look at the realized price, not by the dealer. That's just how I look at it. Because, the way I see it right now, the entire modern market seems to me majority of the coins now they being controlled and as in some extent, manipulated by a dealer, right? Online dealer. So they determine the price, not, the general public, right? So if you look at that from that perspective, I can see that as a realized price in my view. So I will wait until like a couple of years later down the road if I see someone start to buy them in the secondary market, and that would be the
Right.
realized price I
Right, but
consider.
yeah. There's only 100 of them,
hmm
you know,
Still, the
and
same thing.
how
Yeah.
much and I'll go back to the example of the Isle
hmm
of Man coin, the cats from the Isle of Man
hmm
coins.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, try to get one,
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
get one. There's 2,000. I mean, you get one that
Right.
in any
Right.
type of graded, it's just skyrockets.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those coins on the market are pretty
Yeah.
high. And I'm not saying that I made the right decision. I mean, if I want to flip it now, I still can probably pocket
Yeah.
$200, which is 10% in a month. I mean, that's a lot better than
hmm
a lot of other investment if you can get 10% a
Yeah.
month, not 10% a year. And I
Yeah.
think the S&P gain average is 8% a year, and if you're making
Yeah. In
10%
the
a
recent
month,
10
that's
years.
pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I see.
I guess there's no right or wrong. It's
No.
just it's one of those where, gosh, and remember
Yeah.
we caveat this with there's a lot better investment than this, but
Yes.
it is fun. It is fun.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. So okay. Now I counter the question.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's my time to explain to
Okay.
share my point of view on the numismatic coins. And to me, numismatic coins, all those modern coin, I don't really consider them as numismatic coins, and I only look into more like the coin with the numismatic value, which has the historical background, right? And then it has been through certain period of a time, like for example, one of my Japanese coins, right? And if you watch my video in the past, it's 1897, the Meiji era. It has a
Hmm.
history. It went through, the entire generation. I mean, the era basically. So this is one of the great example I would consider. This is a pre-1933, even in some extent, the Kennedy half dollar, right, 1964, right? There's a history behind that. But a lot of modern coin nowadays, even like you go back to back to like year 1980, the 80s, all those pandas, high grade, and nobody knows, God knows, how many of them were being minted, right? So
Right.
people consider that as say a numismatic coin. For me, and it's just more like a high premium um, bullion coin in my view. It's collectible. Don't get me wrong, but But is it really numismatic? It's just a different point of view. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. To me, and in that particular aspect, his history for the coin is more, for me, as a numismatic coin. That is my definition. So.
Okay. So it's more the history rather than the if it's a new modern coin and it's got a limited ability doesn't necessarily make it a numismatic coin. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how I understand it. Because the modern, yeah, it is, yeah. So for the modern itself, the mintage, honestly, is more like artificially made mintage.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't go through any circulation. It doesn't go through any any rough time, right? So I mean, numismatic coin, they have a lot of criteria, and one of them is more like a rarity, survival rate, all those things. And all those modern coins, they have no survival rate unless I purposely damage my coin, right? So one of them just disappear, right? For example, but nobody will ever do that, right? So that's just another aspect of it. I look at it. It's interesting when you do the statistic. Look at the all those pre 1933 coin, even like some post 1933 coin, and the survival and their rarity are just extremely fascinating if you find out more about them, right? Yeah, that just
What would classify rarity to you then?
the rarity is more like I think it's in combination of the mintage. For example,
Yeah.
like a couple of days ago, I spoke with one of the viewers online about the Canadian sand, the big sand, right? 1919 big Canadian sand. It's a copper, nickel, and I think it's a copper, nickel, and zinc. And I could be wrong. I don't remember the metal content, but it's something like that. So the difference between them. So 1919 Canadian sand, the large sands, and that one is pretty common. It's over 11 million coin minted, and the survival is really high because a lot of numismatists they discover them, right? A lot of them
Right.
they're being sent for grading.
Trading.
So
Right.
that's the reference point. It's a lot easier to find. That's the rarity definition. So for 1919 C with the C, the mintage is really low. It's only 300,000 coins were minted,
Wow.
and just a handful of them being found. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they are a lot more rare and the price is a lot higher because they're
Yeah.
hard to find. That's the definition I understand. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
make sense?
I would still say that even the modern coins. I mean, just from my thoughts, even. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I really do. But I still think that anything with a limited amount would have some classification of numismatic attached to it. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The pre 1933, and it's old. A 1908, a 1700 gold coin is old. I got it. But I mean, if you really look at it, the modern coin, that gold in the modern coin has been in the earth probably just as long, right? We only have so much gold.
But they have been refined though. But they
Anyways,
have
I'm just being silly.
You raise a very interesting point, though. You never know.
My stuff is older than your stuff because it's modern. They just pulled it out of the ground lately. Your stuff's been around forever.
It could have been the gold bar that had been sitting at the back of the depository, and they went,
right.
"Here you go."
There it is. We've been looking for it.
Yeah.
We fired that guy on accident.
1916.
Yeah. So
All right.
so I guess do you want to move on to the next point?
Yeah,
or
the
you want
next
to
one.
catch up the,
Yeah, let's go to the
side
next
chat?
one because I only have like 7 minutes left.
Oh,
Because
boy.
we had only had scheduled
going.
this from okay, so 7 minutes. Okay. So
No, we can probably keep going a little bit more until my wife says otherwise.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we have a little thing here. Maybe we'll go like 10 minutes longer, but okay. So $1,400 an ounce right now, right?
Yeah.
So by year end,
Mhm.
And this by the end of this year and the end of next year, where do you think prices will be? And just a quick why. Why do you think that price is going to be at that stage of gold? Do you think it's going to be 1,600? Do you think it's going to be 1,700? Do you think it's going to be 1,200?
I'll let HealthBabe go first.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. Okay,
No,
so
wait. Let me also. This just from what you've read, and it's personal, right? Again, there's no right or wrong, and we're just
no,
gonna throw it out there because
everybody has different
yeah,
opinions. So,
yeah, because you got
hey, by the
the
way,
professional. The professional has been wrong.
Before I answer the question, DBstupid 69, he would like to get an invite. So if you can, yeah, Silver Line me if you can send him a link, that'll be great.
Yeah, I'm just asking him to post his email address there again, and I'll get it sent. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, say that question again.
So, at 1,400, where do you think it's going to go by the end of the year and by the end of next year, or next summer, whichever one you want?
Either way, it doesn't matter for me. To me, I still keep my outlook on gold. I think it really depends on the dollar. That's the main reason. So, and there's a two reasons why I think the dollar is getting stronger. It will put a lot more pressure on the precious metal market, including the gold bullion. And so the dollar, as I can see, it depends on the Fed too, by the way, and the Fed policy. And if they don't reduce the interest rate and remain or increase the interest rate, that could get the dollar stronger. So that is one of the reasons. Another thing, I will see that, as you know, in the global market, the debt market, and they're all denominated in dollar. And as we know, they have to pay back by the U.S. dollar. And if you notice, we used to import a lot of oil, right, from overseas, and then we pay dollar, right? So the dollar, we have a lot of, the global market has a lot of dollar flowing around in the past. But nowadays, if you notice, this past 10 years, we produce a lot more oil and we export, we've been exporting them, right? Right. So the dollar, for the oil import has been reduced significantly. So that means, the dollar has been, it has a lot less dollar in the global market nowadays. That means, it could be a shortage for a lot of, countries. They try to pay back their debt. So from that reason, I can see the dollar getting stronger because of the supply and demand, right, issue. So they will be in higher demand in the short term. So in short term, I would say, year or two, and the price will go down for gold, and along with some other commodity. That is my outlook based on those two reasons.
Wow. Take a look at what Clinton just wrote.
Where are we? I think gold will continue to rise. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Silver. Go ahead, Silver Limey. I'm sorry.
I think gold will continue to rise above $2,000 and silver won't go over 25. I hope silver will go higher, but I do think it will be as good as it was in the early 2000s.
Man, that's bold. Good for you, Clinton. So I'll go. It's I lost my train of thought after I read that, but it's cool. So the thing with gold for me is so I'll go, Limey, and then you, and then
yeah.
So what happened is the strange thing is gold is a commodity, right? And should it be a commodity? I don't know. It has no correlation, like stocks and bonds. Stocks go up, bonds goes down. It doesn't correlate itself with anything. It just free range. It's hard to get. It's hard for me to get my hands around this. So I associate it with inflation. Like if you want to buy a watch, and inflation is at 2%, and you have $100, and next year with that $100 you cannot buy that watch. So everything goes up. I think everything goes up is because the dollar is going down. So, and that's part of inflation, and we can't do anything about it. So with the price of oil, it will go up. There's no doubt about it, because I've watched oil for years, and like HealthBabe says, we used to import. At one time, we on average we were bringing in. This is oil country where we are right now. We have Valero pumping, refining oil like you wouldn't believe. We have all kind of oil in the Gulf. I was at the park one day having a cigar, and a gentleman pulled up in a minivan and a teardrop trailer, and everything was painted perfectly matched. It was a beautiful, beautiful setup. And I said, and he was like a nomad, right? And I said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I'm a photographer. I just left California. I'm going to go down to the coast to take some photos." And he said, "Do you guys have nice beaches?" And my answer to him was, "No, this is Texas. Our beaches is full of oil, and that's what we have a lot of here. And then now we have the Eagle Shell, and so we're producing a lot of oil. But I still see the refining costs and HealthBabe. I don't know if you remember, I said gold will go up because based on the weather, because when the weather hits, all the refinery in the Gulf here, from Houston to Galveston to Corpus, is being hugely affected. So it's based on the weather also, and wow. That's how they dig for gold. They use caterpillars. They use they use diesel. They use a lot of heat to refine, etc. So I think gold will continue to go up. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna stay. It won't get below 1,400. That's me being just trying to make sense out of things, because there's no data that can back it. You got professionals out there that crunches data, and they've been wrong. A lot of them are wrong. So with the price escalating in automobiles and food and gas and light, to me, if I think gold is going to drop, that means I don't believe in gold, and I shouldn't be in this market. Mm-hmm. Which drives into, why would a car double in price and a piece of gold does not? You see what I mean? Why does a pickup truck?
I see your argument. Yeah, I do see your argument. Yes.
So and that's So somewhere it has to go. I didn't sit down and crunch the numbers and say, "Hey, look, I think it's going to be this number." So by the end of the year, there's a potential of it hitting 1,500, maybe even 1,600. And I agree with Clinton. By the end of next year, it will flirt with 1,800.
Yeah.
Just because of inflation. And then there's supply and demand and all this other stuff that goes along with it. But I do not. If gold goes back down, I wouldn't buy another ounce. But then it leads into the next question.
Wait, before you move on to the next question, I have something I want to weigh in. So, and I'm with all of you guys, but I can't put a timeline in that, to be honest with you, because based on what I see from the past 40 plus years trend line on gold and silver, like gold has been since I think since 73, if I'm not mistaken, until now, it has gone up like 700+% versus the silver, it has gained like 300+%. So long term, I'm with you guys, completely, because they just disregard the bumpy ride, in the middle, right? But for long term, I'm very bullish on gold, and that's another reason why I get gold. But there's another factor I think we never talk about here. Now we focus on the physical, right? And that's funny. I'm stacking avocados. That's my new stacker. And I just thought that.
How many avos do you have? How many avocados do you have?
it's smart though if he does, and because the price has been increased,
Yeah.
so increasing. So anyway, and we never focus on the future market because in Silverlime's live stream, I constantly bring up the data from that aspect of it. Because if you look at the volume in the gold and the gold future, the volume is huge. Now they have a lot of digital high frequency trading, which they constantly trading in the range they want. If you notice, you can see the pattern and see how they, really driving the price and then purge, and then drive down the price in a daily basis nowadays. So that should be, personally, I think the future market should be part of the consideration to check into the gold price movement as a prediction. That is my take on it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, then also, if I may add to that, the silver ETFs are also pretty much at record highs, but yet it doesn't really affect the price. So if you're saying ETFs were taken into consideration, we'd probably be sitting on a higher silver price then as well. Would that be correct?
Yeah. Yeah, ETF, that's a whole other topic we can talk about. ETF
Right.
is something else, and
Oh,
the future market, they're completely different things. So.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, now the gold, I mean, the S&P gold ETF has been doing extremely well. I don't follow the silver ETF, so I don't know about that. But now, Limey, now it's your turn now.
Yeah.
The question goes to you.
I've most of the, not that I like doing predictions, but
Right.
1550 by the end of the year, and that's mainly because gold's seen about it's about just over 10% growth this year, based on the interest rate cuts coming in. I think there's probably still room for about another 10%. So that's my indication there. I think about 1550, which I think is pretty realistic.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And then next year I put 1900. Again, just based on potential growth and the figures this year, and then just adding that on. And in regards to what is happening in the world these days, I definitely see a higher gold price. I don't see it hitting 2000. I think it's still going to be in the sort of mid to late teens. But I think about 1800, 1900 would probably. I'd say 1900 is pretty much where my target is.
So which rolls into, if you are gonna, what are you? So let's say you're focusing gold. What are you? Are you a buyer, a seller, or a holder?
Well, I'm probably going to buy some more gold. I've still got I haven't got much gold, so what I'm trying to do is I'm overexposed on silver at the minute. So what I'm thinking of is trying to balance that out a bit and reduce the risk. So I might just take some of my silver and sell, and then buy some alternative metals. So buy some gold, and I'm probably going to buy some platinum.
Yes.
That's probably where I'm. So from a selling perspective, it's only going to be for a short period, and it'll only be to consolidate what I have in regards to reducing risk. So as to sort of divert the sort of stock I have, and then just buy what I can. Will either be platinum or gold, and then just hold.
I see. Yeah. So
nice.
So
nice. So okay. Do you want to go? Or you want me to go?
Hey, Blended Whiskey. That's another comment from a DBstupid. Do you want to read it first, or do you want to go on to the next one?
Where is it?
So he says the electron cycle will be big for gold this time around. Every time they say free, it will go up a buck. Could be well over 2000 by November if the dams look to have a shot. Oh, okay. So this is more like related to politics.
Right.
So he's thinking about if a Democratic Party,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a comment over there. That's another one more before we move on. And so Clinton says basically, that's like where did it go? It's regarding to platinum and palladium is also going up. We use a lot of those two metals in industry. What do you think about those metals? That's a question from Clinton.
Yeah. So we have that's coming up, Clinton. We're gonna finish this question, and then I'll go back to,
Okay.
and I'll end it with that because we all have to go. Well, at least I have to be out of here, right? So what do you think? Are you a buyer or seller or a hold with some of the prediction that's going on in the market, Health Babe, or in this conversation, I should say?
I am not buying for sure, and because it's very uncertain to me at this moment because if we look at the past few weeks, and like I said, I never like to chase any parabolic growth on any market, including the precious metal market. If you look at the gold price, and at this sudden surge, I don't like that. And so it seems to me like it hits a certain resistance level at 1420 plus, I think, and it hasn't been really break through it, and it's trading between those range right now, and like a 1390 to 1420. So and it's more like a consolidation, and it's really uncertain right now. So for me, at this point, I'm still not buying, and I'm holding all my gold position right now, and depends on the price. If I would expect to come down like what I said earlier, right? And when it comes down like what I did last year, so I'll just buy them in tranches when it hits my target. That's just my position right now. But at the same time, I will continue to look for a good deal on numismatic gold coin. That's just what I've been doing, instead of focusing on a bullion coin. So
Right.
that's my
So
position.
yeah. So
Sorry,
for me,
DBstupid just joined.
Yes, can you hear me?
hey,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'll eventually
There's some
find.
echo from your side, though.
Let me clear out some of these other windows.
Are you driving?
No, I'm at home.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, it sounded like that.
How's that? All the
Oh,
windows are closed.
okay.
Cool.
Okay, so hey, DB. So this is the first time that you're on with us. So if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself, or if you want, and
Well,
throw a few words in on the topic.
one thing I've learned over the last several years is that each person has like their own unique path that brought them this convergence. So in my case, I'm about 50 years old, so I was aware and awake when the silver price ran up to 50 back in 1980. And as a kid, I sat around on the couch listening to people that lived through the Great Depression talk about precious metals back then. So this is kind of something that lay dormant in me from my childhood. And then it resurfaced in the first quantitative easing. The first radio news story I heard about quantitative easing sparked me right back into those conversations I heard when I was like 10, 11 years old about monetizing the debt.
Gotcha. So you pretty much started to play young then.
What's that?
I said you pretty much started to play young then.
I'm sorry, I couldn't catch that.
You started pretty young when you got into precious metals.
Well, I bought a 100-ounce bar when I was that age. I lived in Alaska, so with my first dividend check, I bought a 100-ounce bar.
Wow.
And I sold it to go to college. I took a 25% loss on it, and
Nice.
and used the money for part of my college cost. And then later in life, about a year ago, I went back to the lady I sold it to, who still had it, and bought it back. Double what I sold it for. But I got the same.
Wow.
I got that same bar back. She still had it.
So the silver price must have been quite low.
I bought it at close to 10. I sold it at 7, and then I bought it back right at 15.
Wow.
So, but
so you were in and out for me. So you said you bought 100 ounce, and you're talking silver, right?
right when I was about 11 years old.
Okay. All right. I didn't hear all that stuff because I thought you bought 100 ounce gold, and I said, what?
Oh, no. No, but at that time, gold was, shooting up rapidly. Same talk that we're having right now. The idea that gold is out of touch, or out of our physical touch, and just go ahead and buy silver. That was what was being talked about back then.
Wow.
Was that gold was kind of unattainable back then. I mean, those prices. I mean, that was back when if you were making $300 a week, you were making good money, and gold was like $600. So things stay relative throughout time, and the same logic in buying silver then kind of seeps in right now. The idea that gold's just too expensive, so why buy it? But that's not a good reason not to buy it.
Right. And that's one of the reasons that I buy gold is I don't believe in a lot of old talks where they say gold is the first form of currency. Gold is whatever, on and on and on. I think it is a good deal. So it goes back to the question that I have here is am I a buyer? With the escalating price in gold, it's a shock to my system, but I still am a buyer, and I'm being very selective. I'm more into the collector coins, which is silly because now I'm paying $250 over spot. So it is what it is.
A big tangent for me with gold is the idea, and this steps outside of the gold conversation, is that I think we're entering a phase of history where, well, we obviously are in it, where your privacy doesn't exist anymore. And physical metals I believe is going to become one of the last cornerstones of personal privacy, of private wealth.
Yeah.
I think your access to getting a hold of physical precious metals with privacy is going to evaporate in the next 10 years. It just won't exist anymore.
That is a good point. Yeah. And for years, it's been the wealthy has been holding gold. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I do take that into consideration.
Yeah, I think you touched on it briefly, having to do with medical costs. The idea of having something that's outside of what they can put in on. That's a very real thing.
Okay, so I think I can only do one more topic because I got to get going here, and I apologize.
That's a question.
Then maybe we can do this
question.
again.
That's another question from Clinton. So let me see. Okay, if I can find it.
For some reason, there's a lot of distortion.
DB, can you just mute your mic? Yeah, I think the echo is from. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the echo is from there. So thank you so much. So the question is from if I can find it. Okay, so Clinton asks, I have less than an ounce of gold and about 200 plus ounce of silver. I was kicking around the idea of selling some silver and buying gold, but I'm not sure on it if it is the right time. So what do you guys think about that?
I personally think it's a personal journey, Clinton.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
This is a very personal journey.
It's just reference.
Yeah. And you can make the decision based on research, not this panel, Uh, I can tell you that I am a buyer, you know, and it leads into the next question. I don't want to avoid that, but it leads to the next question of what am I going to buy next? And
Ah,
it's going to be it's going to answer the Clinton question: is anybody else looking at platinum or palladium? So my next, I am I am gauging the platinum market, and I can tell you my price on what is the platinum market right now? Is it 850?
Yeah, it was 800
830, I
and
think
yeah,
830,
807 or
somewhere
something.
around there.
Yeah. So 820 was my purchase of platinum last year. I
Lovely.
think no, I bought 1 ounce at 825, and then I bought another ounce at 844, and that was the Queen Beast Lion.
Lovely.
No, the Queen Beast Lion. I paid 880 for it. There you go.
Bit of a
But
premium.
yeah, but I think the rest was 825. It's what 825. I purchased a Canadian maple, and I think was around 848, something like that. I bought an American Eagle in platinum. So around 820 or it'd be better yet, would be 800. But I am looking at the platinum market, and very selective on gold pieces. But I'm still a buyer in this market because I do think it's going to be around 1600, and maybe 1800 end of next year. So that's why, because I don't want, let's look at the crypto. I mean, I don't want to go into crypto. I just use for an example is if I don't get into it now and it just jump up, I'm going to kick myself in the butt. So I put a few $100s in there, just to test it out per our conversation yesterday, Limey. And then, there's just so many things that I said, if I'm not in it, I'm going to get hosed. And most of the time, if I'm in it, I'm getting hosed anyway. So it doesn't. Yeah, I can't win.
So either way,
okay.
you're host, right?
Yeah. So the last question I have, if I have to go, is: so what are you doing, HealthBabe or DB or Limey? What is the next medal? Are you buying any other medals? Or are you looking at anything else?
Who go first this time?
HealthBabe, go ahead.
Me again? Oh, thank you. That's so kind. So I would say, so before I say anything about that, so I want to just make a quick statement about regarding to Clinton's question, just for reference. Okay, so for me at this price level, I'm not gonna sell silver to buy gold. That's just who I am right now. I will just hold them, and if you can have extra, if I have extra, I'll buy them. But this gold price, I will not buy anything. That's just my take, because I never, like I said at the beginning, I said I never chase any market. I don't like the hype. Para I
Uh,
can't speak English.
Parabolic.
Parabolic growth, never end well, as far as I know. I understand. So, and that's why I just won't sell my silver at this moment because the price wise, I don't like it. And second thing is, and the gold price, it seems high at this moment as the price hyped up a few weeks ago. So that's just my take. Okay, that's the my reference for you, Clinton. And oh, Barbara, welcome back. And and another thing is so now get back to the platinum itself. I have emphasized platinum at the beginning of this year in one of my videos for the 2019 strategy, if you can remember. It's more like a speculative territory to me, because it's not only the usage on the catalytic converter, and it's less than used to be, but there are a lot more industry now. They gradually pick it up. That's why I started to focus on platinum about some of them, but right now I just don't like that because the price is a little bit too high, and I like to wait until it hit a little bit lower price as my target. And also, and the premium on a lot of platinum coins, they're really high in my view. So I am waiting for the sale. If I see any good deal sales, I would do that. And on the side, I do buy ETF as well, and I place my order as pending. because it hasn't hit my target price. So
Well,
that's
thank
where
you.
I'm at. And gold, I still buy gold. And numismatic wise, but bullion coins, gold coins, no, just on hold. That's just my take.
Okay. Sorry, John, want to go? Or
So I think it's either you or DB.
Yes.
I'll let DB go first.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. For me, my thoughts are, I'll start with silver and work up the line. For silver, I don't believe that I'll be able to go back, or that I'll be able to purchase at this price in the future. So the idea that I would sell my silver to buy gold is something I wouldn't be willing to do, because I don't believe I could go back and replace the silver later. I don't believe that in the idea of trading back and forth. I'm gonna have to beg off. My wife's calling.
Okay. No problem,
Okay.
DB.
We'll talk to
Okay,
you
have a
later.
good one.
Cheers, eh?
Okay, so I guess that's you now, Limey.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with HealthBabe on that one. Platinum is the one I'm watching right now, more so
Right.
than gold. You know, a lot of people are saying in regards to its use cases and electric vehicles are coming in, that sort of thing. But I've always said electric vehicles are, there's not that many currently in the market, so. There's a fully rolled out electric vehicle fleet, call it that, is probably about 10 years away. So, I might just take advantage of those prices while I can. So I'm quite happy to keep looking at platinum. And I do see the price going up based on, first of all, it's a very rare,
Yeah.
it's 10 times rarer than gold in regards to its rarity scale. And I think prices are still pretty low in comparison. However, I will be looking at platinum from a numismatic collector's piece as well, just to shore up its value, so that just in case anything does happen, then the numismatic value of the coin will hold it in place. So
Okay.
Did you get me there?
Okay,
Glenn?
so
Oh, nice, yeah.
I did. I'm getting the vehicle to drive. I'm gonna have to do.
Hey, blended whiskey, you're breaking up, I think. Is it me or?
On my side. So
I can hear you fine. Help me.
Okay, so I think, yeah, I think you're breaking up.
It's very blended. Yeah, it's probably just this area he's in.
Yeah.
He does something. He's driving.
Yeah, I can't hear him. Is it just me and you, HealthBabe?
Yeah, and DB too.
With blended whiskey, you still there?
I can hear his car.
Stand.
Hello, you there?
I guess we can. While we're waiting, we can have DB to make the comments about on platinum. I guess, right?
I think DB
Since
said he has to go. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay,
Sorry,
go ahead.
The my feeling on platinum and palladium is I don't believe in the idea of holding physical platinum and palladium due to premiums and the idea that the purpose that it's going up for is industrial demand. So the idea that I'm going to hold a physical piece and then resell that to another party that wants to hold a physical piece, it just doesn't make sense to me. To me, it would make sense to hold that in paper form.
But I mean, if you look at palladium's, I think it just reached 1,600 the other day, and that's probably more an industrial metal. But they do make the occasional coin. So there's obviously still even though it's an industrial metal, it's still riding pretty high.
Right, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to find another person to sell.
Sorry, I got you.
Versus just taking the profit from a paper trade.
Okay, so it's more like market share then. I suppose the market share is more gold and silver, and then there'll be a small market share for platinum.
What attracts me to gold and silver is privacy.
Gotcha.
Privacy of wealth, and the idea that palladium or platinum would play a role in some form of a monetary upheaval, I think is low. I think their price would collapse in a monetary upheaval.
I see. Yeah, that's pretty interesting point though. And and go ahead.
I see the upside. I mean, I see the on the logic of owning it. I totally see the idea of owning it as an investment to take a stake in a paper trade.
Yeah.
I just don't see it as a form of private wealth, and I don't see it as a protection for upheaval.
When you say paper form, do you refer that to ETF, or you're referring to like a future market?
Well, I'm a small person, so I would be looking at an ETF.
Okay. I see. Yeah, I have both actually. I haven't gotten yet, for the ETF. It's still pending, but it's just for me. It's like just and getting combination of both. It will make more sense to me. And that is my personal view because I don't have to pay that much premium for that. From the physical perspective. So that is the way I look at it.
I think it's great idea to leverage your exposure to following the metals markets to make influenced trades, to have a better feel for what's going on in the metals markets overall. You hold physical for a completely different reason.
So would you think with privacy, would you say there is a certain value added to because it's privacy? Do you foresee?
I think in the future, the idea of not being taxed on converting wealth is your only shot at that is to physically hold metal. In the future, your privacy is going to be something that's going to carry a different kind of premium.
Right. That's an interesting way to put it. I haven't really thought about that. That's very interesting.
I'm thinking in terms like as I hold my metals, the metal I hold, I get more of an insurance for the unknown, and the best case scenario is I never cash the policy, and then I pass it on to my children, and hopefully they cash the policy. I don't look at it as an investment. I don't look at it as something that I collect and enjoy, although some of it's kind of neat to look at, but to me, it's more of a hedge against my exposure to debt,
gotcha.
and also a hedge against the loss of my privacy. Blended Whiskey made a comment about healthcare. If you get yourself into the hospital and they have a lien against you for $1 million because you just had the misfortune of getting cancer in your 50s. They're gonna put a lien against everything you own if you don't have solid insurance.
Very true.
And even so, it's if you have an ongoing medical need with one of your kids, your ability to keep a portion of your wealth outside of the system is going to evaporate in the next 5 to 10 years. Everything will be tracked within the next few years. Everything is almost all tracked now.
No, you're right about that. Everything is being tracked already. I can tell you that for sure. Even like the conversation we have here, we are being tracked as well. So
Well, even a conversation you have with your phone sitting next to you may be tracked.
yes.
Yeah, very true.
So
Yep.
there's something ahead of us here that that we can't fully see when we're in it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Oh,
horse.
wow. Horsey.
Sorry.
Oh, not real.
That's interesting.
Well, I guess I'm not sure if that concludes it, or if there's anything further. Anybody wants to add?
Just wonder, for DB, in amounts, different metals, the platinum group of metals and gold and silver moving forward. So which one would you pick?
For me personally, for what I have going on in my life, I would like to hold another roughly 25 ounces of gold. That's
Yeah,
just
okay.
that's my own personal position.
Mhm.
I look at platinum and palladium as to me would be no different than putting the time in to understand and research a stock. If I felt there was a stock out there that was a better investment, I would look at that as well. I stepped away from at stock investing when things stopped making sense. Things are trading so far above their intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Hard for
Like
me
this moment.
at this moment. And I think maybe you could make the case that platinum and palladium have some intrinsic upside that they genuinely might be worth more than they are right now.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a case for that. But for me personally, my number one goal is to accumulate about another 25 ounces of gold, and I have a business line of credit that I'd like to pay down to zero.
I see.
That would I don't know if anybody's aware of this. I have an ATM business.
Yeah.
So the money that I use in the ATMs, I pay interest on a portion of that money that's not mine, that I borrow from the bank. If I can pay that down, it'd be like paying myself an extra 6 or 7% on that money a year. So for me, in my case, paying down debt actually puts more money in my pocket to do other things.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Unique circumstance. I carry a lot of debt, but it's like renting money. The money hasn't ever been spent. It just cycles through the business as and that's another aspect of what's opened up my mind to what's tangible and real and what's not. Gold is real. Silver is real.
Okay.
When you
So
load
why you prefer gold then?
$1 million in paper cash a month into machines and it just passes through your hands every day, money starts to not feel like money.
I see. So why you prefer gold?
Partially because of the portability of it, and because I think that the vast amount of trillions of dollars in the world are held by rich people, and if rich people choose to take a flight to safety, I don't think they're going to fly towards anything other than gold.
That's a good point.
Now they may fly to paper gold, which will drive up the price. Like I said, I'm holding physical gold for the purpose of privacy. The privacy is the commodity that we aren't able to really fully price into this yet. It's going to be gone soon. It's almost all gone right now. And the other thing is the future taxation, like what Silver Limey has to go through with VAT tax and other taxes on silver where he lives. We're blessed not to have sales tax where we're at in some states.
Yeah.
And that's another aspect that the United States could very easily have a VAT tax after this election cycle.
I will see. I'm not holding my breath, honestly. Don't know it. Yeah, it's just crazy, and I try not to think about anything like that. So
Well, now I don't know. I personally feel that now is the time to be accumulating. I don't believe it's going to be cheaper in the future.
yeah,
If
it could be the case.
if it's cheaper in spot price, it'll be taxed, or something else will make the cost more difficult. You know, the folks around the world that have to pay above spot price for silver, I feel for you. That's a tough pill to swallow, to be paying 20% over spot for something that's
Yes,
just.
thank you. It's just tough to swallow. In my case, and I that's why I stopped buying silver. I just put the stop loss at the beginning of this year. It just just amount all those different portfolios, silver, platinum, and gold. And silver, in my portfolio personally is the worst by far. So I have to stop. It makes no sense for me to continue. That's just how I play the game. Because the 4 years already, and it
Wow.
never move. Yeah, it never move up. It just continuously move down. That's the problem I have. So
Well,
Yep.
I do believe in holding a certain amount of physical silver. You know, I don't. There again, back to the privacy aspect. You own
Yeah.
something privately, as an investment to further towards retirement. I think there's other vehicles that that would produce better, but it's hard to pay over spot for something and then be told that when you go to sell it, you're going to get spot.
Pretty rare. Pretty rare. If you're talking about the regular bullion coin, usually depends on the type, right? And a lot of government bullion coins, as far as I'm concerned, for silver, and in my area, you'll get a spot or a little bit more than spot. This is just for the government bullion, but for a round, usually they are below spot in my area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Okay, so anything
that's
any
that's
topic you'd like to talk about? Go ahead, sorry.
I apologize. Yeah, I think one thing that's really important is that everybody's path is unique, and that everybody's making their best informed decisions based on what they see in their world. Different parts of the world have different circumstances, different ages. I'm 50. I'm thinking about things from a different perspective than somebody that might be 30. But we are very much living in very interesting times right now.
Right.
And anything can happen.
Yep. There's no one size fits all for everybody. So it's just based on the individual need, to buy a precious metal, I guess.
Yep.
Silver Limey, any comment on that?
Just rephrase the question again.
So we were just talking about, between, I asked DB's question, between gold and silver. He said gold, but why choose?
Yeah, look, I mean, I just want to get gold because just to diverse a bit, I've got too much silver at the minute, so I'm gonna try and make a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I just don't want to be overexposed in regards to what the silver price is doing, because the silver price isn't doing much. So that's my main concern, and I'm looking at it from an investment perspective. In the long run, I'm gonna have some silver to go ahead, and it's more of a speculation that it is going to go up in value. But gold that is already in, let's just say, is already valued. So for me, it's just I'm going to try and add some platinum to that as well, and I'll see if I can get some more gold. But yeah, I'll have to wait and see how it works. But that's my thinking at the minute.
Yeah, okay. So everybody has different approach. That's okay. So I don't know how much time you can have, but that's one question I do want to ask you guys. So many of us, are very into the physical form, right? And except DB likes both. He likes to do the physical and the ETF. So for gold, okay, why personally, if we're bullish on physical gold, why not the gold miner?
Gold miner? What do you mean? Mining
Yeah,
shares?
gold miner stocks, right? For example. And I don't see body talking about that in the gold community, silver community, any community, right? They always talk about different coins, bar, poor, silver, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But nobody ever talks about the gold miner, silver miner, or things like that, right? Even the platinum miner in some extent, So why not? So what do you think about that, Silver Limey?
Well, I wouldn't buy stocks at all. I'm not really a great fan of stocks, mainly because of what's happened since 2008. I just think the stock markets are overinflated in regards to their prices, and that's mainly because of quantitative easing has created this false. I wouldn't say this false. I don't know what's the word. False growth is probably one. That's my perspective on it, and I'll never buy shares.
I see.
Mainly from that perspective. I just it's just my personal preference. I prefer to have something either that's a different sort of technology wise, or otherwise it's physical.
Okay. How about you, DB?
Yeah, I agree to some extent with what Silver Limey is saying. The market's way overvalued, and it's hard to sign on and just go for the ride. That'd be like signing on to a crypto because it's just going for a ride. If there's not a fundamental reason for the price to go up, it's hard to sign on and just go along for the ride. In the marketplace, how much leverage is driving these prices?
Yeah.
There's a moment where it hits a stall speed and it just falls backwards. And the recent Powell testimony gives a strong indication. I mean, first off, did anybody listen to Powell's testimony before Congress?
My only caught some bits and pieces of
it. He made one comment that, and partially you watch the body language, partially you listen to the stutters and the tones, and more or less inflected that they're going to do everything they can to prevent a recession from ever happening again. That's some pretty strong statement to put out in public by the Fed. Not that they are doing their best, but they're more or less going to do whatever it takes to prevent the next recession from happening, like as if it can't be allowed to happen. That should put some caution in the air.
Yeah. But this is one of the statements. But what about another statement? To me, he's more like a wishy-washy because he's not suggesting, he will. So it sounds to me they're stuck based on what he said, the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, he can price. The market pricing already, so he can move it down, but he can move up, right? He's stuck in between. He said he preferred to keep it in the current level, right? That's another thing he said.
Yeah, well, he said the credible threats thing. The idea that they need to speak in a way that doesn't cause the market to overheat even further, but they also need to speak in a way that doesn't cause a panic. Yeah, they're very much trapped in a box.
Yeah.
But the inflection is that regardless of what they do, the goal is there shall not be a business cycle in the future if they can prevent it.
Right.
That should give pause that's the new thing, that we're entering a new era of thinking. That once they were forced into the money printing after 2008, it's put a lot more. There's a lot more variables in play that we can't make decisions based on past policy. They're inventing policy now.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt. I've probably got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Just to let you guys know.
Okay.
I'd love to pick it up another time. I'm happy to table for now and come back to it
Oh
another.
yeah. This is a really fun and healthy discussion. I personally enjoy it. I like to have this kind of a discussion in the live stream. Like last time we did, Silver Limey and we did that, and then it
Yeah.
just and engage the side chat. So we just learn from each other. It's just fun things to do, I think.
Yeah, I can participate in these periodically. I just have to be in consideration that I have a wife and kids that don't want to listen to me talk.
Yeah. Totally understand.
Anyhow,
Yeah, I'll probably get a wife that does that also says the same.
Yeah. And we can always arrange sometimes, to do so. And that, one way, I have some idea, So if we want to engage more people in discussion, and maybe next time when we start to do, when we plan to do the live stream like that again, maybe each one of us, if we want to invite our own guests on the side chat, so that will help to engage more people. I mean, the purpose of it, the way I see it, we just want to share with a lot of people in the community, so we can learn from each other, from different aspects of it, right? So, and we all get benefit out of it. That's just my take on it.
yes. Can I make 2 recommendations for some channels to check out if anybody follows
yeah.
up? There's a channel called In the Interest of the People. It's a channel that's Australia focused. I don't know if anybody's picked up on them. And then the other one would be always to go back to, if you're interested in gold, to go back to Belange P.
Belange
P.
Yeah.
That's a good reference channel for anybody that's thinking of gold, because it gives a good foundation case for it.
Can you post the link in the side chat if you can? Okay. Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you, DB.
Excellent.
Yes, if you haven't listened to his stuff, I mean, that is foundational stuff if you want to own gold.
Okay.
Foundational. I mean, there's really no hole in his theory, in my opinion. It's pretty solid. Now that doesn't mean that it's all, but then the time horizon, there's going to be hills and valleys, but he makes a strong case.
I see. Okay, I'll check it out definitely.
Cool. Well, look, thanks everybody. Even Blended Whiskey, just in case Blended Whiskey's listening, just a really big thank you to him, because he's the one who organised this whole thing. But I think perhaps maybe moving forward, we rotate and go to each other's channels and talk about stuff. I mean, that'd probably be a good idea.
I would like to do one. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to do rotation. Maybe next time it's on me, because you did that last time, Silver Limey, and Blended Whiskey did that, and it's my turn, I guess.
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, I know the pressure is coming, so.
I just want to thank everyone in the chat as well. So, guys, thanks very much for joining us here with Blended Whiskey, DBstupid, and HealthBabe for this talk about gold and other precious metals.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for setting it up for everybody here. So.
Well, look, I'll end this now.
Okay.
You guys just hang on a few minutes, and we'll finish up in Hangouts. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and enjoy your evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world.